This is a viewer request from Brandy. She asked me, how do you stay grounded and continue the momentum when it comes to self-concept and when you get triggered? Stick around, I'm gonna answer that question for you, and this is really gonna help you. Okay, welcome to Patty's World. I'm Patty. I am a manifestation and mindset coach. I help you shift into the highest version of you so that you align with all of the desires of your heart. This is a great question. Thank you, Brandy. I put it in the subject somewhere on YouTube. I said to give me some topic ideas, and she said, okay, when it comes to self-concept, how do you stay grounded and continue that momentum whenever you feel triggered or shaken or whenever something shows up in your reality? First, let me start by saying that this is a lifestyle change. This is a completely radical, deeply profound, different way of thinking. And I'm talking about law of assumption. It's really embodying a new version of you. Whoever you have been in the past doesn't matter. It's whoever you think you are, that image you have of yourself in your mind. Whoever you believe yourself to be, that's what you're pushing out, that's who you're pushing out, and that's what the world of the five senses will reflect back to you. So when old circumstances show up, old patterns, old things that you've been through, how do you release them so that you're not triggered? Simple answer, by anchoring in your new self-concept, that new identity every day, every day. That means you wake up and the first thing you do before your feet touch the ground is you remind yourself, who am I? Well, I'm a confident, secure person who knows her worth and value, who gets everything they want, who loves her life, who has great relationships, makes the money they want, has the life they want. She's a dream maker, she's a powerful creator, she's confident, secure, loves herself, and whatever else you want to use to describe yourself. Remember, you get to decide. In this world, you are the utmost authority on who you are. So stop letting the world out. I'm holding it with my hand, by the way. So stop letting the world outside of you determine who you are. You get to decide. So when something old shows up, the trick is to pause, not react, not default into old ways of thinking. I'm not good enough, not worthy, I'm not loved. And you have to catch yourself. It's the awareness of like, oh, okay, how is this making me feel? What am I thinking? What am I believing? And then completely rejecting it in your mind, saying, nope, that isn't me anymore. That doesn't mean you have to say anything or be rude. You just remove yourself. You soothe yourself. That's that nervous system regulation. And then you shift back into, who do I prefer to be? Who do I prefer to be? Well, again, I'm the confident, secure version of me who loves herself, chooses herself, and the woman who knows her worth and value. And I don't have to worry because this is going to work out in my favor, because everything always works out in my favor and I always get everything I want. And I literally do this over and over and over. And when it comes to a specific situation, I ask myself, okay, I don't like this. I don't like what my 3D is showing me. If I could wave a wand and get exactly what I wanted, how I wanted it, what would I do? And then I want you to think about this. Your imagination is your most powerful tool. Imagine the wish fulfilled, the end. If you could have what you wanted, the relationship, you're already married, then I would take myself in imagination, in the mind, and I would visualize and talk to myself and dwell in the energy of already having and being that person. I may not have it in the 3D, but I create it in thought, in the mind, in imagination, and I dwell in that energy. And that person knows, they live in certainty, they live in knowing, they don't doubt, they don't look for evidence, they don't have to worry, they don't have to force, they don't have to manipulate, they don't have to prove anything to anyone. I don't have to prove anything to anyone outside of me. Stop arguing with the world and stop explaining to the world outside of you. Everything is created in the mind, within you. Create from within. Let people believe and say whatever they want to do. You take it back to yourself within. You always go within and you create from within. You don't have to force, you manifest instantly. That's where you hear that instant manifestation. When you create from within and you believe it, you don't have to prove anything. Time will tell, time will show. And I usually, what I say, I'm like, okay, sure, think whatever. Time will prove that everything works in my favor and I always get what I want and everything always works out for me. So I don't have to worry. No more proving, no more explaining, no more justifying. I get to decide who I am and what is true for me, and I create it in the mind. And I dwell in that energy. I imagine it. So you will stop reacting more and more the more you practice that pause and that shift. Shifting back into my new self-concept, self-talking myself to that new self-concept, anchoring in, and of course the techniques. I mean, figure out what techniques you like, affirmations, mirror work, the affirmations, you can do ask-formations, anything that anchors in your new identity, your new self-image, and you live as this person every moment of the day. You will see that if you practice this, like going to the gym, like being on a diet, like anything new thing that you're learning, like driving a car, you first had to think about it, and then it became like second nature. You don't have to think about it. You can start your car and do multiple things at once, or work in your phone, or any new thing that you learn, you always have to consciously think about it before it becomes second nature. And then by default, you will operate from this place, just doing it over and over and over. And really the trick is dealing with those triggers, right? So that you're not reacting and you're not defaulting. And if you do, let's say you do, that's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace and then shift back into, who do I prefer to be? Because you didn't mess anything up. There's nothing to mess up. Circumstances don't matter. You get to decide who you are. You get to decide your wish fulfilled. And then spin it and add the assumption that everything works in your favor. Everything's always working in my favor. This is going to work in my favor. I add that to everything. Doesn't matter what life is showing me. This is going to work in my favor. This is working in my favor. This is working in my favor. Do that over and over and over, and watch how your life will transform. I promise you. I promise you. This is a lot simpler than you think it is. It's not that hard. It's simple if you make it simple. Make it easy. And live under the assumption and believe it to be true that everything's working in your favor and it's easy for you and it's all aligning, right? So practice this over and over. Like I tell you, it's a different way of thinking, but once you get the hang of it and you see things start to show up, I mean, you will do it with ease on autopilot. You won't even have to think about it. That's how it works. All right. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be traveling for the next week or so, next couple of days. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.